I'm actually looking forward to seeing the Norbit maps that they make. If they can make some nice little point cloud maps of these transects, that'll be
Oh,
interesting
that'd
to
be
see.
cool.
Be a nice way to georeference some of these samples.
Can Hercules map anything?
Yeah, right now we actually, just before this dive, we put on Norbit multi-beam sonar,
Wow.
downward facing on the bumper bar, up on the leg bar.
Cool.
And so since you can put that sonar now like right down on the seafloor, you can create some really nice high resolution maps from those.
Wow,
Instead of
cool.
having the sonar on the hull of the ship,
Yeah.
2.5 kilometers away, we can put it where we want, right next to the seafloor. And
Right.
so smaller swaths, but really high resolution.
Do,
I
do,
was,
do you know what the spatial resolution is on that, Josh?
No, that's more of a K2 here. That's about the extent of my knowledge right
Okay.
there. Chris is the one that's going to have all the details about it, yeah.
There's what it looks like, at least in simulation, going out on Sat Feed 3.
Yeah, right there.
oh, wow. Beautiful.
Yeah, Norbit's really impressive.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's a little model Hercules up there in the upper right quadrant. That gives you an idea of the beam spread, just like you would see from the multi-beam on the ship when we're mapping. And raw data on the lower left-hand corner.
That's impressive.
That is beautiful.
And that's all I know. Once again, you have to ask Chris.
Oh, thank you for sharing, Dave. Okay, so we do have a lot of questions coming in. So this first one is, hello crew, have a great watch. Can you tell the depth? Can you tell the depth is more often? When I rewatch a dive, it's hard to know what depth the ROV is. Can you tell the depth is more often?
We just report it out if you want.
Okay, so we can report it out to you. Absolutely, we can share
That's actually
that
right on the Nautilus Live page.
Oh, yep, you can always look on the Nautilus Live, so we give you information about the depth and where we are consistently on our Nautilus Live page. So this one is now to all the team members. What animals do you hope to see? And Rob, what animal would make the trip extraordinary while piloting Hercules?
Well, first of all, they don't let me pilot it. They're very smart of them. But the one I saw this morning they had, it kind of made me happy, was the frowny toadfish thing. I love
really?
seeing those.
That's
yeah, they had one this
China
morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope you guys got good pictures.
I'd like to see a 6-gill shark too, so.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah, 6-gilled. Megan, I think, brought up the white tip shark as a rarity out here too. That's something you don't commonly see. Okay, so the next question is, since there's so many unnamed seamounts on this atoll, are these seamounts eventually going to be named? And what's the process on that matter? Who wants to take that one?
Well, I mean, I guess it depends. Oftentimes, if there's a paper written and it's given some sort of a name or some sort of a pseudonym, then that can often make its way into a catalog of names. But typically, to name these sorts of things, you have to go through some sort of organization like JEBCO to get it officially named, and that's can be a bit of a process. And I still have a colleague of mine. One time we were mapping, and we were, multi-beam, and we crossed over a seamount, and he goes, "Oh, what's that?" I go, "It's a seamount." He goes, "Can I name it?" I said, "Yeah, but what are you going to name the other 10,000?" So, but I mean, there are a lot of them, and they do have official names. Some of them do have official names, or oftentimes how it's recorded in a database.
Yeah.
Like this one we're calling unnamed Geo number 4.
Right.
So that may persist
until there's a name that comes up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am blessed with being the chair of the Papahanaumokuakea Cultural Working Group Nomenclature Subcommittee. So all of the voyages that have gone up to Papahanaumokuakea for Nautilus here, we've been able to name your expeditions. We do also name various organisms, seamounts, and structures throughout that monument. And there are naming processes happening here for the Pacific remote islands as well. So there are communities that are gathering together to bring names to these seamounts. and working collectively with the communities, scientists, and all of those connected to these spaces to ensure the names given really reflect the relationships established with this place, what the place is sharing with us, and how that can be emanated to the rest of the world. So yeah, naming is fun. We love to do it. So then another question here. Would a quad claw be more helpful over the pincher style you have now? I'll give that to you, Liz, since we're talking about delicate creatures.
I mean, I'm not the one who pilots the claws. I might pass that to some of the pilots.
Okay. Kylie or Josh, would a quad claw be better than a pincher?
Quad claw. I'm trying to envision what that is.
It definitely has four claws.
4 fingers.
Yeah, I think they're all opposed instead of just 2 by 2.
Right, yeah.
Oh.
Well, these ones are intermeshing, right? So we have, there's basically 4, there are 4 fingers on there right now, but they're just intermeshing. And then we do have another set. These ones on here are particularly challenging to use because of how long they are, because of the coral cutter, the shears that we add for taking samples of, being able to cut cleaner samples without hurting the animals as much. But we do have a shorter set of intermeshing, which are a little easier to use, and then we have a set of parallel ones, which are 2 claws, which are opposing. And those are actually, I find those a lot easier to use. They don't get cut up as much, and I quite like those for sampling too.
And when you say opposing, that just means the 2 claws are just opposite of each other?
Yeah.
As opposed to, okay.
Yeah, these ones, as opposed to these ones that intermesh.
Yeah, okay.
And then the squishy ones, I think we had both 3 and 4.
Yeah. Will you zoom in, please?
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, we have 3 nice coral here in a row.
Yeah.
What just happened here?
Name that coral.
Is it a bamboo?
There's
think it might
one,
be a-
oh, yeah, looks like at the very bottom there's a segment. I'm not sure.
Or a primnoid. I'm not sure either.
Yeah.
There was another coral that had a couple of ophicuroid
Yeah.
associates on it too.
Yeah, just to the
If we
left.
could-
Yeah, see there's a couple of knots there down at the base.
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Bamboo.
Okay, come wide, please.
Like an old stock sponge there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Significantly steeper slope than we've had earlier, so. Ooh, look at that nice pillow there.
Ooh,
Kylie, what do you see there?
I see radial fracturing.
There you go. Good
All right.
job.
That's how you can tell.
You are trainable.
Another stock.
Not by me, though.
I was going to make a really smart comment.
On that note, do you have a way to tell the depth of the sediment?
No, we could push a push core into it, and sometimes we carry a pokey stick around to do exactly that.
Yeah.
I love that.
We have a
Awesome.
sub bottom on the ship.
We tried to get some push cores yesterday, but it was really shallow, and we
Right.
couldn't get in deep enough to actually get them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most of the sediments we see here are pretty much a dusting right now. It's relatively thin.
They're also very
Right.
sandy.
Right, that was one thing that we were having difficulty because it was so sandy we couldn't get a stratified nice.
Yeah,
cut
there's a
of the
little bit of
sediment
sand
core.
left over in the box, the sampling
Oh,
boxes,
wow.
and it was just, there's no way that's going to stay in the core. It's
no.
just like a fine beach sand, you know? It's gonna,
Yeah, I don't think I've
out.
ever seen such fine sand on a dive.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah,
it-
and
yeah.
yeah, it's pretty so interesting. So while exploring the seamount, can you tell if they were explosive type events by where the flows and rocks landed, or just a slow magma flow event? I'm going to hand this one to Rob. I think he can address this one best.
Yeah, most of these ocean island sorts of basalts aren't explosive. I mean, they're erupted typically at higher pressure underwater, so it's more of an effusive flow. And earlier I was seeing a lot of sheet flows, which means the flow is coming out very, very quickly and very voluminous. And now we're looking at a lot of pillows, which is kind of like at the end of the flow. You'd have these pillows coming through as the amount of volcanic material magma starts to wane. So this is probably, much more of a slow eruption.
Okay, let's zoom in, please.
Do these patterns indicate age of eruption at all? Or is it simply just flow?
It's just flow.
Okay.
A stalk crinoid?
Is that a?
Okay, pretty.
great.
Oh yeah.
What did you
Looks
call
like
this,
it's got
Taylor?
a stalked crinoid
Oh,
attached to
yeah.
it.
Good spot.
Crinoid.
And then
Nice
looks
spot.
like maybe a brittle star as well.
Oh, in the back?
Yeah.
Really?
Or
What is
It's
that?
a snail.
Is
I
it?
think.
Oh yeah, it's
Oh,
a snail.
great.
Oh, it's a snail? Oh.
It's almost like the hat trick of critters there, Josh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll come wide, please.
Very cool. Thank you, guys. Okay, so in regards to the person who asked if we'd ever dropped or lost a specimen, so we did answer that earlier, and the answer in short was yes. We have dropped or lost specimens.
Yeah,
But
it's extraordinarily difficult to
It's-
sample down here on the seafloor, and
Yeah.
even sometimes when you get them in the boxes, that's not necessarily guaranteed they're going to make it to the ship, just depending. You
that's a
open
good
them
point.
up and put things away, and so dropping, or not getting quite the sample that you're after doesn't happen all the time, but it certainly happens, and it's not an easy thing to do down here to take these.
Yeah, our
Yeah.
pilots
Especially
do a
in
really
a-
good job, considering how
Right?
difficult.
Well, and
this is.
especially in a way like really not just getting the sample, but trying to get one that's clean and a good
Yeah.
sample that's not kind of all mashed up is, yeah, it definitely takes a lot of practice.
Yeah.
The most difficult samples I've ever tried to take were the during Cascadia margin using the hydrate sampler.
Right, yeah.
'Cause you hold a mechanism that's sort of like got a drill handle on it. You hold the
Mhm.
mechanism with the left hand on the vehicle, and you twist the drill into the hydrate with the right hand of the vehicle, without it slipping or going in crooked or getting any of like this. They want a clean spot of the hydrate. It's like really tricky.
Yeah.
Can you zoom in, please?
Oh,
Well, I think they got a sample of that earlier today, too.
which one
Oh,
is
this
this
coral.
here?
Oh, wow.
What kind of coral are we seeing? This doesn't look
Or
like a
is it
bamboo.
sponge?
It's a sponge?
I'm not sure.
Looks like a string of beads.
Yeah.
I
But
like it.
I saw Steve get a sample of this.
Sponge or coral, you think? It wouldn't be a coral. More
No.
spongy?
think
Yeah, it
it's
looks like a
sponge.
sponge.
Yeah.
Okay.
You think it's been predated upon on those
Yeah, it
two
kind of looks like it.
little
Oh,
bits?
maybe.
Yeah,
It's like a marshmallow stick.
Oh, tough one to keep in view there.
Someone made some s'mores.
Cool.
String of onion pearls or
Right,
something.
Yeah.
wide, please.
Wow. That was cool looking.
Just want to let the front know yesterday, the rocks that you got, they sawed a couple of them open. They look really, really good.
Yeah, I was watching watch them get cut open, and it was really cool. Thicker crust than I was envisioning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to have a look at that. Okay, so a quick question here. Does a camera, I think I'm going to direct this to Dave. Sounds like you'd be able to answer this one well. Does the camera for Herc typically autofocus and or can you manually adjust focus?
It's capable of autofocus. It's capable of auto iris for exposure, but we do it all manually.
Oh,
So
okay,
when
cool.
when I'm zooming in, like we just did on that sponge, I'm running the zoom control in and Josh is trying to keep it in frame as the ROV moves around.
Yeah.
And then
What's
I'm
that?
adjusting exposure and focus all at the same time.
We saw
Wow.
we
Oh,
saw
yeah.
one of these guys
You
yesterday.
guys have such great
Can
skills.
you zoom in, please?
And someone just chatted in saying that that
Oh,
string
here's
of
the lily
onions,
again.
that string of onion pearls is actually a tunicate.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that would
Is
make
that, no, is that a sea cucumber again?
sense. This looks like a crustacean to me, right?
Yeah, I don't.
You think?
Right? Because we saw that yesterday.
Yeah, we saw it yesterday.
Yeah, it does
Yeah.
look like a crustacean. It has an exoskeleton there.
Oh, come on.
Purple
There we go.
crustacean. Come on, Hoku, you
I don't
can
know,
spell.
maybe. That's a...
That reminds me of the giant euphausiids they had in the old Cambrian seas,
Oh yeah.
but they were giant. There's,
Yeah.
there, yeah, there are a lot of fossils like that in Buffalo, New York. They have these giant ones. So
Wow.
Yeah, I bet if we tried to sample it, it would move away.
You think? It looks like, yeah, it would be.
Okay, oh, come wide, please. Yeah, we definitely saw one of those the other day, yesterday, or last watch, right?
Right? Yeah. Oh, there's a
There's a
spongy.
sponge there as well.
All
Looks
right,
dead.
so Josh, this one is directed to you and Kylie. Sorry, Josh, for giving Rob the question of what animal while piloting Hercules would you like to see? So Josh, what animal would make your day or expedition trip? Kylie, you can also answer too.
You're allowed.
Josh, what would you like to see?
You're up.
Yeah, I
there's
like squid and octopus. You know, they're like some of my favorites.
a fish in an Atlanticam.
Oh yeah.
What was that, Kylie? Which one?
There's a fish in the
Oh.
Atlantic camera.
Good spot.
Kind of bobbing up and down.
What would- Go
Yeah, I'd love to get into some more, and hopefully we will on this cruise, get into some more densely populated corals and sponge areas. So I'm looking forward to some of those spots. Those are always amazing with all the different colors with the black backgrounds and stuff. It's really get some amazing footage. So I'm looking forward to seeing some of those animals as well.
Nice. How about you, Kylie? What would you like to see on this trip?
Yeah, I agree. Like when you see a, what do you call it? Like a coral garden or coral forest, you can there's so many of them and there's a lot of biodiversity in a small little area. Those are fun. It's like very, Seuss-like, like Dr. Seuss.
Yeah, right. So we wouldn't see, so for the corals that we're going to see, there would be more, what is the term? Is it scleration, where they're more flowy and billowy, as opposed to the big lobular kinds like the Pleiades and the calcareous corals that we see in the shallows? Or will we see those kind too? We'll have to ask Steve.
yeah.
Steve will know. Okay. Next question.
Well, Steve also indicated the thing we were called, that red thing that we're calling euphausid, was a blind lobster.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. And then, so we got the tunicate, the blind lobster. So here's another question. Since there's many detritus/marine debris in the water column, are these matters going to affect when collecting the Niskin samples? I would assume it depends on what you're looking for and testing. And with the Niskin water property, are we only gathering water property data for the Niskins?
No, the Niskin is for the eDNA.
Oh, okay. So then would it matter to have the white snow in there? Would that be helpful, or
Well,
does it contribute to the
so
eDNA?
I think they're using fairly targeted markers for the eDNA, and so most of the marine snow is going to be missed by that. If they're looking specifically, for example, for octocorals, there's probably not a lot of octocoral
That's the word I was
DNA
looking
in the marine snow, so it's probably not going to be picked up within there.
for. So where are they finding the eDNA? Just in the water column itself? It just floats independently? Wow,
Yeah, so all
amazing.
of these animals you see, the corals, the sponges, fish, everything, they're putting off little bits of, either mucus or scales, little bits of, dead
like
skin.
particles of their
Yeah,
bodies,
they're just little bits of them ends up in the water, and that includes some of their DNA. And so the idea with
Interesting.
eDNA is you're able
There's
to pick
cucumber.
up on that
Oh,
and get an idea of who's there.
interesting. Thank you, Liz. I appreciate that.
Can we zoom in, please?
Yeah, we just crossed over the 2600 isobath.
Okay, so it was a pseudo lobster or Polychaelid? Celidae? I'm never good at
It's
that
another one of our sea
one.
cucumbers.
Ooh, lolly.
What's the ID on this one again?
Wow, how pretty.
Paelopatides, Paelo, and then Patides, I think.
What did you say?
Something like
PL?
that.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I just said purple sea cucumber.
Guys,
Poor guy.
not feeling very good. His guts are tied in a knot.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of half, almost Paul.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll come live, please.
All right, so we do have another question that just came in, a few of them actually. I'm going to direct this to Rob again. What mineral content have come from the rocks that have been recovered? Also, away from these protected areas, are the seamounts worth harvesting for minerals? There you go, Rob.
I'll go with the mineral content. Most of the basalts are going to be pyroxenes, plagioclase for the most part. I mean, there might be a little bit of olivine here and there or something like that, but that's the primary content for the mineralogy. And I saw some crystals in the hand sections. I didn't have my hand lens to look at them in any detail, but there were some crystals there, so should be able to identify some of these. There could probably some hornblends too.
Nice. Wow, that's a beautiful sponge.
It's like structural pattern so perfect.
Oh, there's our.
Or there's the, is that a swat
Yeah,
lobster?
it's in there.
Or
Oh.
shrimp?
Yeah, see how the white.
Shrimp.
Oh, I like it.
Right?
Let me out.
Aesthetically pleasing. Very
Right.
Scandinavian.
So you can see it's trapped in there. It's not going to be able to come back out through those
Yeah.
openings. I was thinking it's kind of the same mechanism as the Hawaiian fish ponds,
Come live, please.
where you,
Oh, with
you
the
build a
makaha?
gate where, yeah,
Mhm.
when things are small, they can swim in, and then they
And
grow
then
too big to come back out.
Yeah,
That was a nice one, Dave.
yeah, that was good.
Thank you. I hope there was something in there when I zoomed in.
Oh yeah, there was. It's
Yeah.
nice.
All right, so what is the best or worst part of being at sea? Anyone can take this question.
Bridge, now go ahead.
I think the best part for me is seeing the ocean, how it moves, the different dynamics between the rains, clouds, winds, currents, and then of course seeing what we're looking for
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
I see
deep
that. Thank you.
oceans.
The bridge said that there's rain and increased wind, so it might affect how we're moving.
Okay.
Roger.
Yep. I like getting to know my shipmates, although I know the feeling's
yeah.
not mutual.
Little spike there.
It is mutual.
We got another one of
20,
those
22,
stock
22 and a half.
sponges.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow, look at that one.
24.
What was the idea on that again?
I think saccocalyx.
Saccocalyx.
It just looks suspended, doesn't it? Like a little cup.
We'll zoom in, please.
This one looks a little different.
Has a red solo cup look to it.
Ah, Steve has the correct ID. Halo stylus. Same, I think, yeah. Cool. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, thank you, Steve.
It'll come wide.
Yeah, this looks like a bit of a talus ramp with all these broken off chunks of pillow basalt laying on top of it, different sizes.
Catching up.
Yeah.
So are they different sizes because they've been falling down this ridge or?
Exactly,
Okay.
they've been falling down. Some of it might be in place, like this chunk right here in front of us could be, but not the big black one on top of it. I wouldn't want to build my house at the bottom of this hill.
No.
Not again. That's something over to the right there on that black rock. Just went past down
Crinoid
below
looks
under
like,
the
yeah.
shadow. Yeah. Yeah. Black rock is real specific there. Sorry.
Zoom in place. Yeah, the black rock.
It's a
The
crinoid.
black one covered with a bit of silt.
Crinoid.
Yep.
Almost seems surreal seeing these things because when I grew up, I lived in an area that had a lot of fossils, a lot of fossil
come on, please.
crinoid stems.
Oh yeah.
And so you kind of,
Yeah, they've
See-
been around for a while.
yeah, like most rocks are like, 300 million years old where I grew up. So pretty interesting.
Yeah. Oh, so here's a question for any of you. Are there any color changes in the specimens when brought to the surface?
Yeah.
It's a lot of changes.
So these sea cucumbers that we've been seeing, they look pretty different when we get to them to the surface. Because of largely the pressure changes as well as the temperature, they kind of fall apart. They become really goopy, and a lot of their color kind of starts to come off. They're really beautiful, like purple-red color when they come up, and sort of a nice pink. But they're, when you see them at depth, they're holding together. They have a nice body wall and structure to them. But by the time they get to the surface, a lot of that is really sort of fallen apart. And so it can be a little bit challenging to sample them.
Are sea cucumbers made mostly of water? Or are they like their tissue and
Yeah,
like,
a lot
so
of
when-
things at this depth actually will be largely water.
so then when they do come to the surface, like all that water density just like flushes out maybe, or
Yeah, it's also
just having a visual.
they're adapted to be at depth. Their cell structure is adapted to pressure, and so when the pressure is
it.
lessened, their cells will just sometimes start to fall apart.
Wow.
And because they don't already have a lot of structure to the body otherwise, it just kind of, they just sort of try and turn into a pile of goo, unfortunately.
Oh, cool. Interesting. Thank you for sharing that.
Seems like we have a little fewer critters here on this part. These depth on this
Where's that
system.
guy?
A little steeper here, so I'm kind of, it makes having I have to go a wee bit faster just to keep up.
No, that's fine. I'm just getting generally spatially looking at these.
Yeah. We go 0.2, but it feels like 0.5 down here. 'Cause we're having to climb the wall.
Any feel for current here, Josh?
That's pretty mild, which is kind of, it's allowing me to get a lot more stable, really, with some of those zoomed in shots. I'm just amazed at how clear the water is, too. It's like, it's almost no water, it seems like. Some of those.
So at this depth, does temperature play a role? And the question here, it's more due to temperature than anything. Oh, maybe it was more of a comment.
Zoom in, please.
I think that was more of a comment.
But I think
So with the temperature, we try to keep them cold when we sample them as much as we can, but they do end up warming up a bit when they're sitting at the surface. But once they're on deck, we try to keep them cold, but they still continue to kind of disintegrate.
Start to disintegrate.
So we have a confirmed ID on that sponge that looked like a string of beads. The common name is actually a kebab sponge.
Okay.
Oh, hey.
Oh,
Demo spongii.
Yeah.
Nice,
Demo
Steve. Thank
spongii.
you. A kebab sponge. And that was the one that looked like, oh no, the tunicate, the one that looked like a tunicate earlier. Well, that makes sense because it looks like it has like a kebab.
What's the non-common name?
Korab.
Stop.
The non-common name is, all we have is Desmo spongiae.
Okay.
Or Demo spongiae.
That's cool.
Ooh, what's that?
Is that a shrimp there?
Big shrimp.
yeah.
That's a
Big
big one.
shrimp.
Whoa.
Please zoom in, please.
Oh, hey.
Those antennae are long.
Wow.
Wow, pretty.
Jeez, he's eating well.
Yeah.
Lobster imposter.
He's huge.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen one so big.
me either. I think it's got to be the biggest
Wow.
one I've seen.
All the little
Wow.
hairs on the antennae
I'd
and
love
legs.
for him to
Wow, look
swim.
at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could make that happen.
This
Okay,
is
come
true.
on, Yeah, what I find kind of interesting with the animals that live down here, it's like this environment is so stable, right? The temperature never changes. There's obviously no light until an ROV shows up and throws it at you.
Okay.
And just like the currents are similar all the time. It's just like an incredibly stable environment.
Wow. So thank you, Liz. That comment earlier was in regards to the cucumbers. 104. I have a lot of folks from Canada.
The Josh fan club.
Yeah, Josh, you got a lot of fans.
Sweet. Looks like another shrimp there,
Yeah, a little one.
swimming away.
The swimmer.
Oh, hey. In Hawaiian, we call those.
Oh, and some sort of
Ophicuroid.
worm.
Yeah,
Do you want to get a zoom on that?
yeah.
Yeah.
Try
It's
Is
like
it a
maybe
worm?
polychaelid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's zoom in, please.
The one we saw yesterday was so cool.
Good Spock. Oh,
Yeah,
there we go.
it's like a
Oh,
polychaelid.
yeah.
It's beautiful.
Oh, I love it. Pretty.
Maybe a tenaid.
Wow.
Oh, bump on the bottom. Hey, we'll come wide.
Very cool.
Oh, there's two.
Are there two?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw.
Or it's a shadow.
Another sponge.
And another
Oh, yeah, there is
sponge.
another one, yeah.
So somebody wanted to know what was on the rock to the right of the shrimp. I missed it, so I'm not too sure what that was.
Yeah, I don't think I noticed that either.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
notice what that was. Shoot.
Yeah, I've been seeing it a little bit in the Atalanta AFCAM. Yep. Yeah, it's a good thing to keep an eye on though, for sure. It's good to notice that.
Okay, Rob, this is another question for you. Is the batrioidal textures on the rock surface formed from the start when the lava cooled down by the water, or is this textures are accurately ferromanganese forming over time?
Can you zoom in, please?
Yeah, that texture is typically associated with the manganese, ferromanganese crusts that are forming.
Oh, okay.
They kind of center on a little point. But there are some lavas that do have a similar sort of texture the way it cools.
Oh,
But for most of these ones that you see here, it's from the ferromanganese crust.
oh, what is that?
It's a glass sponge.
What's inside of it?
Another sponge?
Yeah.
Maybe a tunicate or
Yeah, tunicate maybe. A little something next to it too, that another sponge.
Maybe
The
another
small one.
tunicate?
Yeah.
Oh.
yeah, come wide, please.
And again, some of the rocks have a tight web type surface. What would cause that compared to the smoother, less textured rock surfaces?
The web type structure. Yeah, I think that's just the sediment that's kind of infilling the low depressions on
Oh,
the
right.
botryoidal
Like all of
texture.
these
Yeah.
looking.
That's just the sediments collected in the little low-lying areas on the rocks.
I don't know why land bugs can't be as cute as sea bugs, but they are certainly cute. I know what I really want to find or hopefully see on this cruise, and Steve has already shown me an image, is a deep sea nudibranch. It's going to happen. I know it. They're going to be on the octocoral.
You probably should stay up for every watch then.
No.
That's what the highlight reel is
Somebody
for.
said that mainly that was a dead sponge with something in it. So that glass sponge looked like it was.
This wall is pretty steep.
Yeah, these are nice little pillows. This looks like an old flow front.
Gosh, I really wish they were pillows.
It's going to kind of be this steep the whole way to waypoint 5.
What, we have the ship going, what, 0.2 or something?
Yeah, do you want me to
Is
slow
it
down?
actually going 0.2 or is it going faster?
It's going 0.2.
Is it going 0.2?
Yeah. But I can slow down.
Can they do 0.1? That's
I bet
pretty
they
slow.
can.
Yeah, Josh,
Oh, I
it,
can't. I can't.
Yay, see, somebody else loves nudibranchs too.
we have a ways to go, but at about 2,400 meters, probably try to get a rock sample. It should be just kind of below the base of the top of this nose. It should be some
Okay.
relatively in place rocks, but just so you're set up for it, because it'll still be steep.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll probably end up stopping the ship for that, I think.
Okay.
It's translating pretty quick down here.
Yep. Yeah, these look like they're all in place here. This is neat.
Yeah, these would be...
Pillow on
wanna
top of
stop
pillow
or
on top of
not
pillow.
no, I think we'll keep going.
Okay.
Do you have a depth target, Rob?
Yeah, but I said about 2,400
Oh,
meters.
24, okay. Sorry, I missed that.
Ah.
So when you think the ship is at about 24, then we can stop.
So these rock formations would still be pillows. Yeah, they wouldn't turn into nodules.
Nope,
Can you
these are
pull up
pillows.
depth on
Okay.
there? You should be able to pull up
What are
depth
those
on
larger slate looking?
But those are lava flows going on top of it, so it's going to be a
Wow.
little more luminous over top of these. So,
Well, I can just
And you would
see
still
we're at
term
25.
them pillows too?
And then-
Or would
well,
it
I call them a
lobate?
flow, a
Lobate now.
lobate flow.
Oh,
Yeah,
lobate flow.
That means it's
10
probably a
meters
little more
down.
melt or a little more magma at the time.
Yeah, so wherever you think the ship
And it looks
is in
like they're all
24-ish,
more
then stop the
stuck
ship there.
together,
Yep.
kind of a thing,
So
as
about
opposed
here.
to individual.
Yeah, I mean, eruption after eruption, the eruption occurs, then it dwindles, and the pillows go out, and then you have another eruption. It could be, minutes, hours, days away,
Wow.
and to come back on top of it.
Does
as the
anybody
whole system
follow
grows.
these eruptions, or do we know when they happen, or is it just after it occurs, then we see the results of
No,
the
there's been a
eruptions?
couple of really interesting stuff. I mean, a lot of the Endeavor segment in Juan de Fuca
Oh.
off of Oregon and Washington.
Okay.
They have a system there where they have seismic sensors.
Oh.
They can actually tell you when things are going to start to erupt.
Right, so that's like some of it we would have in Hawaii, right? For us to
Exactly,
know when
exactly.
our volcanoes
Exactly.
are going to erupt.
And instead of like
It's very helpful.
instead of like a normal earthquake where it just kind of happens beforehand, you start to get these very periodic, very, very predictable events occurring. Just in,
Okay.
kind of like a very rhythmic sort of seismics. And that's the indicator that the magma chamber is filling, about ready to erupt.
Oh, okay, because we've had some good flows happening on Big Island over the past few years.
Yep.
But now our flows are different than the way, like our flows are thicker and more,
Yeah.
what is the term for it? Oh, I can't think of it, but they're thicker and
Voluminous.
they move
Viscous?
slower.
Yeah.
They're not so erupted.
Yes.
What is it?
Yeah.
Somebody just said
Viscous.
it. Viscous, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think these are probably moved the same. I mean, they're both
Oh.
probably have very similar geochemistry because that's but the one in Hawaii is probably from a mantle plume,
Oh.
and it has a lot of melt over the years. I mean, for the last 80 million years at least,
Right.
it's been erupting.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is probably just some sort of a punctuated, couple million year event, if that.
Oh, okay.
And this has a lot less melt generated.
Oh.
And but the process is still the same. But the things you see in Hawaii are on land.
Got
and
it.
So it's aerially exposed, where these are underwater, and that's what creates the pillow basalts.
Ah, I understand. So different, of course,
Yeah.
all of the environmental conditions influence how the flow will move in that environment.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
There's some spectacular video, years ago, showing lava going into the ocean in Hawaii, and you actually see the pillows forming and popping and cracking.
Yeah, I
It's
didn't know that
incredible.
that was what they were
Yeah.
making. Yeah, I was blessed to be at Flow 2018 Flow on the Big Island,
cool.
and we lost a lot of land, but Pele
Yeah.
gave us some more land. So, but we were able to watch, and of course, it's always attractive for others to come and see.
Yep.
But yeah. Oh, okay, cool. That's good to know. Because yeah, they would fall off, and then they would hit the water, and it was almost like that contrast in temperature just would make them explode.
Uh-huh.
And then there were some ships out there that were pretty close,
Yep.
and the rocks came onto the ships and hurt the turret. But yeah, so they fly pretty far too.
Yep. It'll be a little different what you see in Hawaii compared to here because the pressure of the water. There's more degassing in Hawaii.
Yeah.
A little more, little mini explosiveness of when the stuff goes in. Here it'll be probably a little calmer.
Wow. So here is a question then based on our conversation. Do you think there are any old sea vents from this seamount, and would they be deeper than where the study is being conducted?
Well, it depends on where you have a fracture. I mean, at the top of the sea, where all the stuff is erupting, there could be some.
Okay.
Sure. But we actually think that there's some cooler seeps, so there's still some water venting out of the seamounts coming up from the inner part of the crust.
Huh.
And yeah, they do see seamounts. It's actually something called the Dorado Seamount near Costa Rica that has water coming out, really fast. And that's an off-axis seamount too, which has hydrothermal vents and very unique biology.
Wow. Amazing. It's amazing what our environment and Earth does on its own.
There's a little more current here, and you can see the sponge moving around.
Right? That looks like a little cotton ball sponge.
Okay, I'll come wide. There's a little ridge here.
Oh, okay. So then we have some comments here that this is also subsea eruptions, and it's 100% under the water all the time. Yeah. So someone also answered that it would be extremely unlikely to see active hydrothermal vents since these are supposedly 90 million years old or so. So perhaps in this environment.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to see the active vent, but you might see some cooler water coming through as like a chimney. Is it? Okay. Yep.
I'm going to reset it again because it's already off and you don't look like where it says it is.
You can see which way the current's flowing.
Wow, look at that.
Wind indicator there.
It's in the right direction as the models predict, so this is good. And we are supposed to get, faster currents at the top of this thing based on the model.
Is this the model you're looking at?
No,
or over here?
No,
over here.
I have predicted currents here.
Okay,
It's from the HICOM. It's a hybrid ocean circulation model.
got it.
I looked at the predicted current flow for the last 3 years during the month of June.
They're pretty consistent then? For the predictions
For the most
are pretty
part.
consistent?
Well, I mean, it's been matching so far, both the previous site and this site. Yeah, you see the shapes of these? There's more of a sheet look to it.
Yeah.
So that's going to be more voluminous sort of things coming off as a sheet flow.
Right, and then it looks like there's that extreme drop, or that ridge kind of
Exactly,
look.
dropping off on either side.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the melt would probably come out the top of the ridge and flow down the sides.
And then down the sides. Interesting. I think this one is for you, Yvonne. Say hi to the crazy ant strike team for me when you get to Johnston. That was the comment.
I'd love to know who actually wrote that.
Right, they might just put it in there.
All right, I'd love to know.
I think it's Ann Anonymous is her name.
Just stop it.
Well, I'll have to say hi to those back in Honolulu because we have no one at Johnston right now. So we are done with that mission. We have had tremendous success in eradicating the yellow crazy ant. So we no longer have 6 people at a time living in Johnston.
Zoom in, please.
Nice. So we can send the aloha back to the crazy ant team in Hawaii.
That's right.
All right, another question. What depth is the expedition focusing on and why? From there, and why from there, anything particular and if of importance?
I'm going to do a gauge check.
Okay.
So it seems that our focus of depth right now is somewhere between the 2,500 to 3,200 meter zones, right?
Yeah, our dive started at 3,205 meters, and now it seems as though we're moving upridge, correct?
Yeah.
Towards waypoint 5. Where we'll do some more exploring. And the point of this dive is to characterize this never seen before area, the geology and the biology, just to, see what's here, be able to give any recommendations for the area. And yeah, we could be potentially finding new species. And yeah, making as many observations as possible about this area because we haven't seen it.
Thank you, Taylor. That's awesome.
And it's pretty interesting that we've, on the previous seamount, we saw quite a few nodules and nodule fields.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure we've seen anything like that here.
It was incredible the amount of nodule fields that were, I mean, I'm just learning about nodule fields, but then it seemed like once we started talking about them, they just seemed to appear everywhere. And this area is a bit different. I think Liz or Taylor, I do see a question in the science chat portal. And I don't know what the HICOM model is.
Yeah, I am not too sure what that is. We have a question back here. Who is running the HICOM model? Do you know if it includes tidal forcing? Can anybody speak to that?
Yeah, it's a model that's, joint. It's run out of the University of Miami, I believe, but it's joint with the Office of Naval Research. And you can access the data. It's not easy to deal with, but it's freely available. And yeah, they take all the forcings, they take all the Argo data, the sea surface measurements, and they put it in, and they do a hindcast. They do forecast, but they also do a hindcast to kind of see how it works. And I've been surprised how it seems to work pretty well here so far.
Is this a good time to collect it?
Yeah, we could try.
Okay.
We could be a little quick about it. Okay, we'll come wide. You're gonna end up getting past me here.
Raj. Why does this sea cucumber look more purple? Like it's a deeper purple?
Different species.
Oh.
I believe that it's in the same genus, but we're probably seeing a few different species.
Interesting.
It can be hard to get the species ID from visual alone. We'll probably have to use genetics for that.
Wow.
It also can just be natural color variation within a single species.
Oh, it's moving. Bye.
There it goes.
Wow, pretty.
Yeah, so a lot of them can take off and swim away when they feel threatened. But they can't go very far. They're not great swimmers.
You're gonna put it in a slurp jar or in a bucket, basket, jar? Gosh, where do you want it?
You could put it back in that same bucket with the other one. They can hang out together.
In the forward tool tray?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so just do a little light.
Okay, like 20%?
Yeah, start with that. Hold on, I gotta get a better grip than that.
Okay. You want me to rack the camera back now?
Sure.
Raj. You've got 20% flow.
Okay. See if I can reach it.
Oops.
Go 30.
30. Raj, 30. I.
Oh.
There it is.
And
Okay.
one down.
Okay, never mind.
Easy peasy.
Getting slurped.
Unfortunately.
Wow, that was only 30%.
And we're done.
Yeah,
Let's get ready to shut it off as soon as it hits the jar.
Roger.
that must be a smaller one. It
Yeah.
didn't fit in the slurp, but
It
that's
just went-
also fine.
Slim
There you go.
is on the summer
Alright, it's in the
diet.
flush jar.
There it is.
It's in the flush jar.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, there
Oh,
he
it's in
is.
the flush jar. Okay.
Sorry
that's
about
okay.
that. Yeah.
You can make
But it seemed like that was fine, yeah, for you, Liz.
Sorry?
make another number one, the flush or whatever.
Okay.
Another number.
Oh yeah.
Just might want to note that
Cool.
in the log so that
Raj.
remember to pass that on.
So as we're getting settled in, I'm going to pass this over to our scientists on the back row here. With predicted changes in the ocean conveyor due to climate change, are there any concerns on how that will affect deep sea life / geology?
Yeah, the deep sea will definitely be affected by climate change. It's in some ways it's on a little bit more of a delay because the ocean conveyor belt, basically it takes a long time for surface water to reach the deep sea, and of course surface water is what is being affected first with both warming as well as acidification. But eventually that water will make its way to the deep sea, and the animals down there are going to be very susceptible to the warming and the acidification because, as was mentioned earlier, this is a very stable
I was just gonna
habitat for
say,
them.
yeah.
Like, they do not experience changes in temperature or other water conditions. It's very, very stable, and so even small changes are likely to really greatly affect them.
Looks like we're watching
Right.
some
Wow.
evisceration in the flush
And
jar.
so,
you.
even if we figure out climate change and, surface waters are recovering, it's going to take a lot longer for that recovery to then
Yeah,
in
he's
turn
not
affect the
happy.
deep sea.
Thank you, Liz.
But it's going to be,
Okay.
it's not going to be in our lifetime, be a couple of thousand years. And, the deep ocean circulation has changed quite a bit over the millions of years, and these things have adapted. So they may not be where they are today,
So,
but they may have to find a slightly different environment that's conducive to their
and
their
perhaps that
lifestyles.
delay could benefit or help their adaptation just
Yeah.
because of
It'll probably be a slow instead of a sudden
slower
event. The sudden
change.
events aren't good. The slower adaptation
Okay.
may give them time to either go shallower or find in a slightly different place or
Right.
deeper or whatever they want
acclimate
to.
or adjust to the
So,
change.
yep.
Interesting. Would you see any changes? Would this affect the geology too? Like, we talked a lot about the bio, but would that affect geology, climate change?
I mean, for the ocean, in this area, it might affect the types of sediments.
Okay.
So it may affect circulation. So it may, where you have robust
Zoom in, please.
phytoplankton or productivity,
Okay.
as well as something called the CCD, or the calcium compensation depth, where you're going to have calcium-rich sediments preserved like we have here, or if it's just going to be red clay, it may change those provinces.
Oh, okay. So
And
there is.
And that's happened over time, over the last tens, hundreds of millions of years too. And
Okay, so there's like expected changes and then stuff that
Yeah.
that is affected by climate change. Okay, puffy white sponge.
Cool.
I hope my descriptions are better this time.
Yeah,
It
there's
looks like a
video
heart.
again.
Yeah.
Interesting,
Like an upside down
Okay.
heart.
Looks like a giant
It's
tooth.
up pretty fast right now.
or
Yeah, it does,
Well,
I was
huh?
thinking.
That's true.
or SpongeBob.
Was that sample number 28?
That was sample number 030.
Wow.
30 samples in already. Dive and a half.
Okay, so I'm going to shift this one back to the ROV guys if you folks are ready.
Humans.
Sure.
Humans. There's humans down there?
What? I ain't no stinking ROV guy.
ROV humans, thank you.
Neither am I.
No
No,
offense.
no. Oh, yes. No offense to the guy. But we are humans. Okay. Okay, humans. When Argus at Alana move up, are they moving up using only the thrusters on the vehicle, or are they also using the winch to pull Argus slash Atalanta?
To go up, I am only using the winch.
Oh.
To change the direction I am facing, I am using the thrusters. To change where I am on Earth, I use the ship.
Oh.
Great answer.
Good answer. Thank you, Kylie. And then if the living specimens you collect survive beyond ascension and testing processes on the surface, are they ever donated to aquariums or are they placed back into the ocean? Good question.
They really don't make it. For the most part, I've never seen something collected by an ROV survive to the surface. Unfortunately. Oh, looks like we got a fish on camera right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, there it is.
I know that when we do research in Papahānaumokuākea, there are different protocols that are implemented when gathering species and then returning them to the ocean. So in different areas, there are different protocols that are implemented for those types of things to honor various cultural protocols that happen with those species in those places. But for other parts of the world, I'm not too sure how that works. Life seems pretty spaced down here. Do the cucumbers have to worry about predators too often? What eats them other than Herc's slurp?
Yeah, we don't really know a lot about that. It's hard to tell how much predation they experience. Clearly some, if they have that evasive maneuver of swimming.
Dang it,
It's a great image of the fish.
I know, I missed it.
But there are predatory fishes at these depths, possibly like the one we were just looking at. But for the most part, one of the strategies is to get relatively large. So, you know, if you're pretty big, you're not going to be eaten. They're also, as I said, mostly water, so they're not going to be very tasty or nutritious. It's possible they also have toxins. We don't know a lot about that.
Oh.
This is the first time I've
That rock
ever...
looks different than all the other rocks. Can we zoom in, please? Doesn't it? Is it just my eye?
Oh, that looks like
it's not a rock.
sponge.
Good texture, varied sponge catch.
Sure looked like a rock for a second.
Yeah. This is the first time I ever compared in my mind a sea cucumber to a watermelon, because it's like full of
mostly water.
It's and it can be eaten, but maybe you don't want to eat it.
I want to eat watermelon.
Watermelon are yummy.
They're less gross to me now, I think.
Oh, that's a nice picture.
They're both like purple pink.
Yeah.
Maybe a Basalcetus.
Yeah.
Haven't you ever eaten sea cucumber before?
No,
Yes.
but I will share with you that on one of my trips, there was a tube worm woman. No, she was a woman, but she was a tube worm scientist. she was a tube worm scientist. And she said that they go into the tube and you have to siphon them out. And then she told me what they taste like. And I was like, why do you know that? Because she siphons them with her mouth.
I also have had that experience.
That's undergrad for biologists.
Awesome.
Wait, are we talking about tube worms?
Nope,
tube
sea
worms?
cucumbers.
Oh.
Sometimes you gotta siphon the water out of the bucket, and clearly they don't have too many toxins because I'm still here.
At least not human toxins.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the last cruise I was on. We were trying to preserve some tube worms for, museum specimens.
That's the trip.
Yeah.
Cascadia margin?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I had to try to blow a tube worm out of its tube, and it was rough. It actually worked, but I found a new method very quickly after that.
So in Native Hawaiian culture, Loli is the Hawaiian name for sea cucumber, and it is considered a delicatessen. We do enjoy eating them, and they do have a lot of significance in cultural identity, practice, and consumption. So we love our loli.
Yeah,
Aw.
there's a decent fishery for this one, especially some of the shallow species.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone has ever eaten one of these deep ones.
I bet not. I wonder. We have a lot of water.
Yeah, we've compared them to snot when they come up.
Yeah.
They're not very appetizing.
Oh, don't take me down the snot road. Just made me think of my auntie. Sorry. It's a common practice. Aunties and snotty babies. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and answer this question, but I'm going to share it with everybody. Yvonne, feel free to chime in on this. So has there been any consideration of collaborating with the Polynesian Voyaging Society, Hokule'a, to connect the Papahānaumokuākea dives with the traditions of wayfinding and Hawaiian religion and mythos? So I will directly respond to this question. In short, yes. So we do collaborate with the Polynesian Voyaging Society and Hokule'a on different cruises. It varies on what our purpose and functions are. I'm not sure if OET specifically has done that, but I think those would be awesome collaborations in the future. There's different things that that Va'a can gather from our nearshore environments that are not as easy to gather from our larger vessels. I implement outrigger canoes in ocean research, conservation, and stewardship. So I have a vision of fleets of Va'a carrying for our oceans throughout Papahānaumokuākea. Single hulls, double hulls, sailing canoes, along with our larger voyaging vessels. So I believe that would be a very important methodology to implement, and I firmly see that happening in our future, very near future. Yvonne, if you'd like to touch on any of that, please chime
actually,
in.
some of the things that have been done, you can actually find it in the website papahānaumokuākea.gov, and not just things have been done, but also a lot of the things that are going to be taking place in the future. So lots of good information in that website. You can find out more.
Mahalo, Yvonne. Yes, I envision fleets of Va'a, fleets and fleets. Okay, so back to,
So Josh, anytime you find a spot, like you have a good distance ahead of Atalanta. So if you find a spot that you maybe sample a rock.
Okay, sure.
You want it here?
Yeah, anywhere right about now. I mean, anytime.
Okay.
I think what I'll do is I'll just get ahead, and then I'll try.
Okay.
So
You don't need me to stop the ship or anything?
I'll try and do it without. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
If I get it all fumbled up, then maybe we will. But I'll give it a shot without stopping.
Sounds good.
It looks relatively target rich here, so that's why I was.
Yeah. Any kind of one of these, even if they're kind of more rounded.
Yeah, I think these are all. They are what they are here.
Okay. I'll just get set up, and then I'm gonna be stretched out a little bit here.
What did you call that, the texture of these rocks? How it looks kind of like a series of grapes almost.
Yeah,
like
I thought you said grape-like.
Yeah, they call them botroidal.
Botroidal. Botroidal.
what was it? Botroidal?
Yeah.
And what did that refer to?
The texture on the rocks.
Oh.
Botroidal is supposed to be grape-like, so it's kind of like a.
I think of it how like a pancake gets those bubbles when it's ready to flip.
Okay.
Where would the sample be going? We have space in, if it's a smaller rock, we have space. Well, we don't want to mix it, I guess. Do we have those inserts in the bio boxes on the starboard box? Or
Yeah.
the acrylic inserts are in there?
No.
No? Okay.
Not in the starboard one.
Okay.
Just
Well,
in
we
the
have
forward
empty boxes for E and F on the starboard side, or we have forward omega is free.
Okay.
I wonder if these are going to be loose, these ones, do you think?
Maybe the one just top left of the, top right of the lasers, with that little shadow, right to the left of the,
Like those
I don't
two guys
have
right
a
there?
what's that thing called? Telestrator? I don't got one.
You talking about that one right there? Oops. Up there?
No. To the, where the coral cutters are now, just to the left of it.
I think these are going to be all cemented. Yeah, these are going to be
Okay.
firmly.
Okay, that's what I was just wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Overall. Oh, that one, little guy's loose.
Oh, I see how the claws
Fly
overlay
up a
each
little
other.
further. Let's see if we
Okay, that's
see some-
fine. I just want to see if this flow front would actually have possibility of getting one, but that's, try to find one that's a little more looser, a little farther up.
So mahalo everybody for your questions. As soon as we're done gathering some samples here, we'll get back to answering all of your questions. Please feel free to continue sending them in our chat and we'll be sure to address them as they come in. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a shrimpy. Is that a slope or just the angle at which Herc is right now?
It's a slope.
Oh, it is a slope.
I mean, it's looking to the
Yeah.
left of the slope.
Because this image right here makes it look
Yep.
like it's flat. Oh, okay.
Kind of look at the shadow distribution too.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
So
There's
sure
an
about these
angular
either.
rock. Where do I see it?
Think any of these might be loose, Rob, or they're...
Yeah, they could be. I'm not sure if,
Okay.
I mean, if that one was, or it looks like there's a couple up here too that any of these would.
I'll sit here and see if I can poke
Okay.
at a few of these. Not liking the look of these ones.
Yeah. They look a little big.
There we go.
Too small?
Just a little bit. I mean, but
You can have a look at it and try.
yeah, I think it's gonna be a little too small. You have like 2 centimeters of crust on most of these
Roger, yeah.
that we saw before.
Not the one back there.
Yeah. No, I mean, can you reach that one up there, or is that just too far?
Maybe. What about this one? Right here, maybe?
Yeah. Well,
Oh, there's another
see if
heart
it's
shape.
loose.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Nope.
No.
Does that one move?
Okay, that one might
Yeah.
work. That might be a good size.
Yeah.
How are we doing ship-wise? I'm pretty far behind now.
Yeah. Pretty far.
Yeah, I think that'll work. That's a nice size.
Okay, I'm just
Alright.
gonna hold it just for a second. I'm
Okay.
gonna jump up and catch up, and then we'll
Sounds good.
put it
Awesome.
away.
Thank you, guys. Okay, as we're catching up with the ship, I'm going to go ahead and start addressing some of these questions here. And I don't remember if maybe Liz or Rob, you can answer this one, but the dead sponge we looked at, is the dead sponge we looked at covered in ferromagnesia, manganese crust? So I'm not sure about that one. I don't really recall if it was or not. And then how do shallow cucumber species differ from the deep ones here?
Well, for the manganese crust, they say they are. I didn't check. We did recover one at the last dive, but I didn't look too closely to
didn't-
see if it had any
It didn't
crust
look
on
like
it.
it to me, but
Okay.
I mean, it didn't have
Where are
that
we going
really
with this
dark
one,
black
Kylie?
color.
Yeah.
The forward omega is open, or one of the starboard. It's pretty small, so maybe the starboard.
Small one?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, roger.
I'm just not sure which. I forgot what box.
For starboard, we have E and F open.
E and F, roger.
Oh, those are the big ones, aren't they?
Yeah, all of the small
Oh.
ones are full of rocks already.
Oh, all the small ones are full.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can put
a
biology
lot
with
of rocks.
in those small boxes, but we can't put any more rocks in there.
Okay. So maybe omega is the best one.
Sure.
I don't know.
And what about the sponge question? Is that there's another sponge question?
Oh no, there was another cucumber question.
Oh,
I
there's
was just
two,
waiting.
so how do the shallow sea cucumber species differ from the deep ones here?
Yeah, they differ quite a lot. So the shallower ones, they tend to be a lot tougher, more like robust.
Right?
Partly because they have to deal with, some of them are more in the intertidal zone, so they have to be able to deal with like pounding waves and a lot more kind of intense environment, as well as a lot more predation that they have to worry about. They're also able to eat kind of more food-rich material. They're still eating the sediment or the sand, but there's going to be more food within that, and so they don't have to be as adapted to surviving on really low amounts of food.
So that would maybe be the reason why they're more meatier and have more like
Yeah. There are also some
flavor
shallower
and
ones
texture.
that are what we call suspension feeders. So they stick out their feeding tentacles into the water itself, and they collect little particles from the water instead of eating the sediment.
Ah, cool. And then this question could be for any of you. When surfacing with the specimens, is there a set rate of speed you have to ascend at? Or maybe the ROV guys could address
Yeah,
this one.
we come up pretty slow. We come up at about 15 meters per minute.
Oh,
That's pretty slow. So
Okay.
That's our limiting factor, really.
Thank you, Josh. And then this is another one here. Does the sound of the ROV have any effect on the deep sea animals?
Yes, it almost certainly scares away a lot of things, mostly fish. We think that most fish in the deep sea have pretty good hearing, and they actually probably communicate with each other using sound. So they almost certainly hear this thing coming, and some of them aren't going to care. Some of them are probably going to scatter because of it. It's really hard to know how much we're missing.
So
right? Does the ROV have like a, I'm thinking
front
of reverb,
box?
like even vibration?
I think it's
so
kind of
wonder if
dealer's
that
choice.
affects, you know?
Yeah,
and
light,
the light.
sound,
in front
vibrations.
omega or right?
I can go in the
stuff.
front, sure. It's easy.
Rubbered enough.
That's the easy one.
Thank you, Liz. And then another one here. This may be for the ROV guys, so you guys let me know when you're ready for questions.
Yeah, I'm just going to put this sample away and then you can have a look at it.
Want to try out?
Look.
Sure.
Coming out. Can't see anything.
Oh, hold on.
I know there's a holothurian in there, and I'd hate for it to be
Okay, well,
floaty.
just give me 1 sec then.
Raj.
I'm getting the lasers. Where's the other one? There it is.
Perfect. 10 centimeters.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like exact.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. In the short direction even, so that's good size.
Okay.
So tilt down. Sorry, which side?
Omega? The one on the right.
Roger.
Okay, coming out.
Just gonna, yeah, you can do that's it.
Oh,
Good
there's
stuff.
the sea cucumbers. Are going to pop out?
Yep.
Nope. Better stay put.
Hopefully.
Hey, full wide? Okay, just
Yep,
checking.
full wide.
Thank you.
A good glove save there.
Okay,
Okay, you
coming
can go in.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. All right. Thank you for the note. I will be mindful of our terms. So in regards to our pilots, you folks let me know when you're ready for more questions. I am going to maybe defer this one to Liz. Can specimens get the bends decompression sickness?
Yeah, so it's not really the bends. That happens when you're going from the surface down to depth and then back up, but they are definitely affected by the change in pressure as you move up to the surface. Different animals are going to be affected different ways. Fish, for example, a lot of them have swim bladders, which are sometimes filled with gas, and so when you go up, those gas bladders are going to expand.
Okay.
For something like a sea cucumber, it doesn't have a gas bladder, but as I had mentioned before, they are just adapted on like a cellular molecular level to the pressure to different extents, and so when you go up, those enzymes are not going to function as well. A lot of these things, they could be acclimated if you were able to go slow enough, but that would be that would take a very long time, a lot slower than the ROV goes up. But it is actually the temperature that affects them a lot too.
Okay. Okay, so the temperature would be more than them getting the bends or decompression sickness.
At this depth, the temperature is probably going to be more of a factor.
Okay.
Good. Probably.
And just for reference, that last sample was 031.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then mahalo everybody for your comments in our chat. I will be mindful of all of what you've expressed to me, so thank you for sharing. I very greatly appreciate it. Here, Rob, here's a question for you. Why would you not place that on top of the other rocks in the side bio box?
It's still in there.
Yeah, for one, we don't want to mix our samples and get them confused with one another. A lot of us have been on different watches too. We're diving for 24 hours, so some people have placed geology in a box and we're not sure what it looks like.
They said it was a negative wrap.
So we want to make sure we are also staying true to where we place our samples so that we know where they're coming from and we don't get them mixed up.
Thank you,
Yep.
Taylor.
Well, yeah, my voice hasn't changed. That was Taylor giving that
Yes.
observation.
Okay, and then let's see here. I'm trying to get to more.
I don't know, it's weird. It's increasing your tether wraps on the GUI.
Yeah. So if it was a negative wrap, then I just increased it. Right?
And
To
now
0?
has...
Well, they zeroed it,
We're
so
gonna be
I
quiet
know,
for a
so
minute.
that you never, ever, 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 ever. That is
do
like
that. You don't do
golden
that, I
rule.
know, but
Golden rule never to do. But if they said it was negative,
yeah,
then
the positive
I
wrap
just
is
added
okay.
a wrap,
Yeah.
right? Which means that I should be back to 0.
Okay.
So we'll just keep an eye on that again.
Okay.
You can kind of see it in the app. I'm going to stretch out a little bit.
ROV guys, are you ready for some more questions?
Sure.
Okay. Has the team, excuse me, ROV pilots, pardon me. Has the team ever come across an old shipwreck during a dive?
On purpose, yeah, many times.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, we've done quite a bit of... That looks a lot better, eh?
I'm going to turn off some of my lights so I can see it a little
I've
bit.
just seen it here.
Okay.
Sorry, we're just investigating a little loop in our cable.
I want to look in your camera, in your aft.
Right, I was sort of looking there just because I stretched it out, but yeah.
Yep, we just crossed a 2,400 meter isobath 2 and still climbing.
Okay.
We'll be coming up onto a little
I don't know.
more gentler slope in a
We'll
little
keep
bit
an
on
eye
our
on
way to waypoint 5,
Okay.
so could be interesting critters up there, hopefully.
Ooh, that'll be exciting. Okay, so we got the bends and the depression sickness. ROV pilots, do you have hydrophones? Pardon me, I sincerely apologize. Do you have hydrophones on the ROV?
No, we don't, because Herc is actually quite loud. And so all you would hear is its hydraulic pump running. So yeah, we wouldn't hear too much of that environment out there.
And then another one for you folks. How much of the ocean has been explored by the EV Nautilus so far?
Oof, cannot answer that question. Lots.
Lots.
I don't know.
Yeah, I was like,
Not sure. It's
I
a
don't
good
know how to
question, actually.
quantify.
Yeah, I don't know how to quantify that either.
I'm sure it has been,
I
but
mean, between maps, if you consider high resolution mapping and then also visuals and other work we've done, yeah, it's a lot.
A lot. Okay.
No, this is a really nice steep slope of pillows and elongate pillows at the very top of this slope. This is really cool. That's why once we get over the top of this is why I waited till about this depth to get a relatively fresh sample.
Got it.
And then once you get over the top
Wow,
of
yeah.
this.
It's like a cliff.
Yeah.
Wow. It looks really dramatic.
And you see the little breaks over here on the edge of the
Yeah.
rock. So you can actually see that's where pieces of the basalt have been falling off.
Okay.
And so that's where you get that talus down below.
Exactly. I mean, you see the same thing in granite when you go hiking up in the mountains too.
Yeah.
the daisy chain looks a little loopy.
Oh. Okay,
Yeah.
Rob, I have a question here. How do metals react to these extreme depths?
Well, I mean, it's salt water, so things like iron wouldn't do too well.
I have gold, silver, steel.
Well, I think gold is probably relatively inert. And steel may have some tarnishing aspects too with the salt water. I'm not sure.
I don't think the pressure would affect it that much.
No,
I mean,
it's just the salt water, I would
and like
think.
salt water or
Okay.
water does compress, but not that dramatically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a chemist, but oh, it looks
but
like we
not
got
because
another
they're
sea star.
Ooh. Is that a brittle?
It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Looks like it, but
Yeah, I was just thinking salt water instead of temperature and pressure. Right? It may the colder temperature may reduce the rate at which
You might
the
want to
metals
start
rust.
washing up a little bit there.
I mean, the iron.
I mean, it's a cool shot, but
Okay, so another question for our pilots. Let's see, is there a way to pressurize and regulate temperatures in boxes, or is that not possible on an ROV?
you mean on the ascent?
Ooh, what is that?
It's a nice sponge.
Well, we do, the boxes are sealed quite well, and they're insulated. They're like made of a thick plastic material, and they're kind of like coolers, so to speak. And the water temperature when you get to the surface is really cold. It's pretty close to same temperature as the bottom.
Okay.
And so that's by the time the scientists come and take the samples out, that water's still pretty cold. And so we don't regulate it like actively, but we just basically have designed the box to kind of be like a cooler, so to speak. So when they're sealed up and on the way up, then that's how we keep the water cold.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to get a little input from the pilots and engineers about the metals and pressure and temperature. I noticed there's a bunch of sacrificial anodes on the...
Yeah, that's right.
Is that more for any sort of charges, or is it just to...
Yeah, because we tie a lot of our grounding to the frame of the vehicle.
Okay.
And so we obviously don't want the vehicle to corrode, so we put sacrificial anodes to deal with electrolysis.
Is that a sponge we're looking at right now?
Yeah.
Is that the Ferrade?
It could be. It does look very different from any other sponge that I feel like I've seen so far.
Yeah.
So somebody commented that they said that was a Brisingid sea star. Brisingid.
Yeah.
I'm getting some good shots in the still cam.
Lovely.
Well, I hope they're good.
They usually turn out beautiful.
Oh, that's pretty.
Send that one to...
Yeah, I was going to send it to Yvonne there after I capture this one.
Good by me.
These are gorgeous.
Let's see if I can
That's a nice shot.
I'm going to try and tuck into the side of the cliff here and see if we can...
All right, Yvonne, I have a question for you. So somebody is curious. They were stationed at Johnston Atoll in their military days. Where are y'all exploring in relation to the atoll?
That's a question I may need assistance with in
I
terms
think
of how
so.
far we are in miles from the atoll itself.
Right?
That's a navigator question.
Right? Maybe that should go to
Navigator
Emma
question,
over
yeah.
there.
Let's see.
I saw military days, so okay.
We're within 200 nautical miles anyways, as we're within the EEZ.
We're to the south, right?
I don't know what Emma can tell us.
Maybe.
Where are we?
I don't know.
That's not what the navigator's supposed to
We are
do.
I found it.
around here.
A navigator that doesn't know where we are, we're in trouble.
Yeah, we're in trouble.
Tetrapleura.
We are to the southeast of it, and we are 148 nautical miles away.
Nice. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And another question is, I'm watching this and drawing deep sea. Oh, somebody's watching this and drawing deep sea animals. Cool.
Aw,
Oh, that's great.
That's awesome.
Artistry is wonderful.
Have they drawn any that we've seen so far?
Let's see, maybe they heard your question and will respond. Have you drawn anything that you have seen so far on our dives? What is the strangest thing you've found or seen down there? I don't know.
I guess strange is sort of relative.
Yeah.
Like unexpected or just different from what we have at the surface.
I'd say the strangest thing I think I've seen was like
Oh, that's a good question.
a bathroom mat
Whoa.
from someone's
Really?
bathroom. Yeah. Like a shaggy carpet rug thing from...
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was a random piece of debris.
The
that I've
kids were
seen.
asking me about if any like human, debris was seen, and I told him about the flip-flop yesterday.
Yeah.
If you're a deep sea animal, Herc is probably the strangest thing you've ever
Yeah.
seen.
Oh, yeah.
And they didn't see it because it was just blind.
Yeah, heard it.
Yeah,
They're
just
probably
heard
like,
this,
what is going on
loud
here?
flash of light go by.
And then I have another question for our pilots. Do the ROVs behave differently in saltwater versus freshwater as for flying in the water? Good question.
Not flying, but buoyancy-wise, for sure.
Buoyancy would be
Yeah.
affected. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Saltwater or buoyant.
Oh, and then the person who is drawing deep sea animals has been drawing some of the animals that they have seen on our dives.
Cool.
Awesome.
Unexpected.
That's cool.
Right. Just trying to read through all of these. Okay. I think we got most of them answered thus far.
Yep. That was an impressive scarp we just went up.
That was the slope?
Yeah, I thought we'd see more animals here.
I have been seeing a few more different types of sponges,
Yeah.
but still not very dense.
Not a lot of corals. It's really just a lot of sponges.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, every now and then I've seen a little small
I'm
coral.
surprised that there aren't as many corals. I would have expected to see more. Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna find. Oh, yep.
Is that a stalked crinoid or something?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
looks
that's
like
a
Yeah.
good call, yeah.
Stalked
Where?
yellow crinoid.
Top.
Oh.
Will you zoom in, please?
And you said yellow crinoid. Okay.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like a
Right.
stalked crinoid. I believe we saw some of these on our last dive. Not on our watches, but...
Oh.
I want to see an umbellula.
Oh,
Oh,
those
yeah.
are fun.
What is that?
It's
a
sea pen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks
Ooh,
like
yeah.
They're really common on the
feather
abyssal
duster.
plain. They're one of the more common things you see down there.
And they attach to the substrate
Yeah,
then?
come wide, please.
They just come out
Wait,
of the
what is
sand or out of the sediment, yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's on the abyssal plain, there isn't really any rocks or anything usually, so they just grow right out
Right,
of it.
that's what I was thinking. Is like,
Mhm.
okay.
Do you
So
think,
we're surrounded by the abyssal plain here.
Oh.
That's what surrounds these seamounts. Sorry, Rob.
do you
No,
think we'll
no.
see anything on the top of the atoll here? It should be sedimented and flat, but maybe some current.
Probably.
Oh,
I guess
boy.
I'm not really sure. I feel like we've been sort of surprised.
Well, on the previous watch, I saw them try to sample one. And it,
An umbellula?
no, it was just a sea pen, not a big one. It was like a little small one.
Mm-hmm.
And they used the slurp gun, and it started running away from them, or they had trouble getting
Oh.
it.
Yeah,
can
they're
be-
very hard.
They can be anchored really well,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, they're talking about the pedula or something like that. or-
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Umbellula are weird because they don't look like what you normally think of as a sea pen. They look more like an anemone.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right, okay. So I do have some more questions coming in here. Let me just get back to where. And this is for anyone that would like to answer. Do you have a favorite deep sea animal? Ivan.
Well, I have not yet identified one. I'm still exploring all these deep sea creatures to make a determination on which one will be my favorite. So too soon for me.
Right, right,
Yeah.
too soon.
Dumbo octopus.
Oh, thank you, Dave.
You know, I like whales, but I've never really seen a whale. in real
We're
life.
gonna find a whale for you, Kylie.
I like whales, and whales don't like me.
Okay.
Never saw a whale Cascadian market.
Maybe
Oh,
they don't
wow.
like her.
Ooh.
Look at this
Ooh, what is
sponge.
that?
It's
It's
another
another
one-
sponge?
I think so.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Beautiful.
It's a big one.
Taylor or Liz or Emma?
I also have no idea what my favorite
cam
deep sea
again?
animal
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
They're
think
all
mine
so
changes every
impressive.
day.
Yeah.
It's not
Like this sponge
It
right now is
depends
my
on your
favorite.
mood. Yeah.
I think someone previously called this a tetrapleura.
Yeah,
Sponge?
somebody did
Yeah, okay.
previously call it a, did you see that on here? I saw
Yeah,
it.
I did.
Yeah.
Tetrapleura sponge.
I really liked that Tinophore
That
from
Tinophore was
yesterday. It
cool.
was really cool. It's really shiny.
And then somebody made a note here, LOL from the Navigator Watch. That's probably my flip-flop. I hope
I'm gonna
it's
see if I can get
better.
right cozy with the Sexton camera
Oh,
here.
pretty. Okay.
I'm just gonna tilt down the main camera. I just want to try and get some stills of
That's
this.
beautiful.
I'm just gonna see where I'm gonna put that camera.
Oh, stop. Okay.
Wow.
I wonder how tall that is.
Right?
Yeah, I'm trying
He's
to
trying to use the lasers
guesstimate.
to imagine, but it's
Oh, you
hard.
are?
Well, it's
Maybe
kind of
like
hard.
a meter? Huh.
That's pretty tall.
Yeah, probably close to that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure how far behind the lasers are right
Nice
there.
job. You should
Yeah,
back
it's
up
hard
a
to
little,
tell.
so you like don't cut off the top of the bottom.
Want me to, oh yeah, you want me to come up or down?
Back.
You want me to go back?
Yeah. Because when I worked at Sears Portrait Studio, they said don't cut off people's foreheads or feet.
Oh,
so
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because then you make it look
Like
short.
that, like the perfect.
Well, there's good a
And
shot
it
right
has
there.
to come
Oh,
up
yeah.
a little.
Sorry, let me
But
get settled.
The still cam is getting
How's
it
that?
really nicely.
That's perfect.
Are they?
You like
Yeah,
that?
it's-
She's
Still
getting
cam.
it. Okay, great.
Look at that. Perfect.
Oh, that looks
It's
beautiful.
really beautiful.
Oh, thank you,
Okay.
everybody.
Is that good?
We got
Or is
another
it-
polychaelid or something next to it.
Ooh.
Another
Yeah.
worm.
Crazy worm.
I love the way they
Cruising
tumble
there.
around.
I do too. All right, so again, back to our pilots. Have any creatures bumped into Herc?
Sure.
Yeah, all the time.
Did a whale?
No.
And not survived.
Sometimes they bonk the camera or something.
Yeah. Yeah, lots of stuff has interacted with Herc.
Interacted. I like
I
that.
bet. Have you seen any curious creatures that kind of come up and?
Like crabs. Sometimes crabs are like, you know, all like, get off my lawn.
Yeah,
You gotta remember also most animals are gonna be blinded by the lights.
Oh, right, because
So-
it is a different environment, right?
It
There's
might
no
not be
light.
intentional if they
You
bump
said
into
that the squid
Herc.
had
Sure.
inked you before, right?
Yeah, squid have come right up. I've seen on one of the, can't remember if we're going up or down, but like mid-water, squid came over and just was like, I don't like you.
Oh,
And
did it ink
started-
you?
Oh, there's
it
a
was
big
like all over
sea
the
pen or
craft
something.
arm.
Oh, yeah,
It
the
was
What
zip
is
on the
that?
right.
Yeah.
getting really mad and it looked like it was trying to bite the
think
craft
it's-
arm.
Can we
and
take
Oh,
a
like
look
a
at
black
that?
coral,
panicking.
To
Possibly.
the right.
Really
Yeah, can we
upset.
take a look at that coral to the right?
Roll to the right.
Is it a Bathopathes? I don't know.
Where was it?
Or
There
is
it is.
it a pen?
There it is right
No. I don't know what that
It
is.
does kind of look like it's got a black skeleton.
Yeah, it does.
Black coral. Good.
there. Good job.
Is
Don't
it?
thrust it out.
Yeah, I think it is.
A black coral?
Yeah.
Okay,
it's
we'll
looking
zoom in,
like
please.
it.
Was that
And what-
something we wanted to collect?
Taylor, what indicates that it's a black coral? What characteristics?
So you might have heard someone earlier say that you can see a really dark axis. So the skeleton underneath is actually proteinaceous and it's black, unlike other corals at the surface where you will see a white coral skeleton when they are like bleached, for example.
Okay.
So this guy has a completely black skeleton, very beautiful. I think this might be Bathopathes, but I'm not sure.
That is beautiful.
Wow.
Okay. Thank you. What are all of those little wavy, feathery looking things coming off of the
Those
side of
are-
the fan?
Those are the polyps.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
really?
this is a colonial organism, so each one of those is an individual,
Cool.
and that's what they use to feed.
But they don't have zooxanthellae.
No.
No. You need light
So
for
these
those.
polyps don't have, they wouldn't have the cups like the
Okay,
stony
welcome,
corals. They're
please.
just like more extension feet, like to capture food or to like catch it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Cool.
scientists,
Thank
do
you.
you want to go check out this kind of ravine over here, or would you rather go straight up to waypoint 7 once we get closer?
Oh boy, we've got a lot of questions. Holy cow.
I think I'd rather just go straight up to get on top of this ridge.
All right.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. I'm going to hand this one to Rob. I think it fills your...
I think they're
Is
just...
the atoll atoll?
I think they're just picking on my pronunciation and calling it atoll instead of atoll.
Oh, okay. I thought it was
There's so many pronunciations. I say atoll, so.
I think they're all correct. I don't think there's a right way to say it.
Okay, was the fish below the... Oh, I don't know if we saw a fish below that sponge
There's
there.
a big something coming up, like a coral, I think.
Oh. And then we had a ton. Oh.
Looks like a bamboo, maybe? Is that segmented?
What do the sponges look like out of water? Okay,
Or is it just some
so I will
frogs?
hand this maybe to Taylor or Liz, one of our scientists. What do sponges look like out of the water?
They look pretty similar to how they look in the water. They mostly maintain their shape.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I would say that.
Do they lose color? Do their colors change at all?
Not that I've noticed,
Really?
no. Some of them do have a funny smell, though, which is interesting.
What
Yeah.
does it smell
Probably
like?
worth
Just
doing
out of
sooner than
curiosity.
later.
I actually haven't sniffed any of the sponges on this cruise, but there was a scientist I think 2 seasons ago that was a sponge expert. I can't think of her name at the moment, but I sailed with her, and yeah, she would take note of if they had like a savory smell sometimes. Some of them would have a weird savory smell. Yeah, yeah.
I wonder how they define savory, you know, like is it like, I'm thinking, when you say savory, I think meat or like a food or something.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, we've got to smell them now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if I use my sponge too long, it kind of stinks in my sink. It's a different smell.
That's one of my biggest pet peeves.
It's one of mine too. Yeah, I changed to a scrubber. All right, pilots, I have another question for you folks. Excuse me, pardon.
Humans, yeah.
Does Herc have red filters for its lights?
No.
No.
We're just, can't remember what our, I think we're in like
About 6,500 Kelvin.
6,500K, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna do a quick cable maintenance here for 1 second. We're gonna stretch out our tether a little bit and see if we can.
Okay, so while
I'll take this loop out.
While the pilots are working on that, I'm going to start redirecting some of these questions back to our scientists.
Do you want me to turn off auto heading for a sec?
And then
Sure.
I might hand this over to Yvonne.
Okay.
Before expeditions, do you all meet and get to know each other and have a briefing, or does that all happen the day you leave the port?
I won't come up on my delta, but I'll just keep an eye on my
Many briefings
altitude.
take place
Okay.
Virtually, online, so that we all get to actually become familiar with the vessel, become familiar with the expedition, with the objectives. About 4 times before an expedition takes place, we all get to kind of relate to one another. And then on board, we have had several presentations from experts to become acquainted with everything from the geology to the biology, and of course safety briefings as well in the ship. So yeah, many different kinds of interactive meetings to
dragging, you know.
become the great team that we are.
Right, it's
Slightly
really
better.
helpful to have
Yeah, it
those virtual meetings before
I don't know if it'll just go back the way it was
meet
once
each
it
other in
goes to the
person.
catenary, but it does
Absolutely.
look better.
Yeah,
Just
it
we
does
did something, yeah.
It does look a little better. See if I can give it a little yank here.
pilots,
wonder if I
please
should
let me
take
know
that
when you're
wrap
ready
out
for more
again.
questions.
Sorry, say that again, Josh.
Kind of wonder if I should take that wrap back out and see, now it's all stretched out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So why don't we just do that too? Because
Okay.
Oh, nice.
so if you come up,
Coming up.
I don't know if we. I'm gonna come back to port.
Is that sand particles from Herc
Stop on the winch.
all
Yeah.
in front there? Oh.
I'll turn auto heading on, so I'm not just free spinning.
I don't have enough tether yet. I don't think we ended up. No, maybe a tiny bit.
What,
Okay.
are we still going 080 with the ship?
Yes.
Okay, just FYI. I'll end up back there.
How do you tell how close it is to the bottom? Oh, anglerfish, yes.
Okay. I'm just coming around to 080.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. So it looks like we're coming on top of this ridge now. This little nose.
Stretch that back out again. Okay, I can see it there.
Yeah,
But it
that-
looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, ask him.
Okay. Sorry, a little tug there.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. Little maintenance break there.
Oh, no worries.
I think we're back in our tether. Cable's looking a little better.
Would you rather go up this less steep part, or is this
Doesn't
fine?
matter to me, whatever Rob wants to do.
Okay, cool.
Either way is fine. Yeah.
Then we'll go right there.
Okay.
Seems like we're seeing a lot more of these kind of long and skinny bamboo corals.
Okay.
Bridge nav. Can we change course to 055? Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's a good call, Emma. Because we'll see the flat stuff here to see if there's anything and then head up that ridge.
055.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. It's all good. Just for me, I have to like say it to myself just to stick
Just
it in
remember it.
Me too.
I do that as well.
Okay, 055. Little.
Okay.
I keep trying to choose easy numbers.
Perfect.
That one
Not
wasn't
like
as easy.
054.
0.5. 0.5.
No, thanks.
There's another one
There's
of those
something big
tall,
coming up.
Yeah, tall.
What
Yeah.
do you see?
Wow.
Another coral.
ROV pilots, are you ready for some more questions?
Sure.
Okay. Our first is, how do you tell how close Herc is to the bottom of cliff sides?
Cliffs are kind of interesting because the front of the vehicle will be a lot closer to a wall, for example, than the back of the vehicle. I can have an altitude sensor, which is our DVL, but the DVL is at the back of the vehicle. So often I'll use I can either use bubble cam to look at my bumper, but after a while you kind of know your surroundings based on the camera and the visuals and shadows and things to where the front of the vehicle is.
Okay.
When it's flat, then I can just use an altitude sensor and know how far the vehicle is off the bottom.
Oh, I see. But when you're on a cliffside, it's a little bit more challenging.
Yeah, well, it's just a little
Just
different.
because of the
That's
so
right.
interesting,
shape.
that shape.
Is the sonar on the top of the
I think it's
vehicle?
another one of those
Yeah.
bamboo corals, right?
Well, we have two sonars, so this one's under the bumper bar
It's just in a really weird
on
shape.
the forward,
Port side.
And
the
then
bezel's
cool.
up top on the right side.
And the
side.
DVO's on the bottom in the back.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then just in regards to the atoll,
Yeah.
atoll, it was a joke about how tall the atoll was, not on the pronunciation. All right, pilots, here's another question for you. Does Herc transmit sound or only video?
Just video.
Okay.
Video and communication from all the sensors and things that are on the vehicle up to the control van, but no sound.
There are hydrophones down in the ocean that are listening to the background noise. I don't remember the link right now, but there are some that you can like
Somebody
live
was
stream that you
asking
can
about
listen.
A hydrophone, if a hydrophone was on the ROV.
Not on the ROV.
Not on
The
the
ROV is very
No.
loud, but there are
Oh.
ones that are just moored out or like cabled out in the
Okay.
middle of the water, and they, without any other machinery around, they actually just listen to the natural sounds.
Oh.
And things make a lot of noise down there, especially we think a lot of fish make noise, but it's really hard to match what sound goes with what organism.
Okay, now I have a question about a hydrophone.
Okay.
Is it just how is it shaped, or how is it absorbing sound? I'm just imagining like a big,
Underwater microphone.
like a megaphone or
microphone, yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, so it just has a
it's a
microphone, in
microphone.
it. Okay. I went to like the old stereos, you know, or like, you know, when the teacher puts the thing in her ear.
Yeah, so we've been involved
In
in
their ear.
installing a lot of these sensors in cable
Okay.
observatories and other places, hydrophones, cameras,
All right.
seismology instruments.
All right, and then here's another one for our pilots, or anyone actually. What happens if a creature swimming closer to the surface bumps the cables?
Never know. We would never know.
Are the cables pretty strong enough to where you wouldn't feel that bump unless it was
Yeah,
a big bump?
it's just one cable, but yeah, I don't think we would ever know that happened.
Or
Okay.
on some recoveries on the last trip, there was like, as the two vehicles are tail to tail at the surface, there were some sharks swimming around it, but we
Oh.
just saw them. But, you know,
Yeah.
there's just curious, I think.
Curious
You
to come over, yeah.
know? Yeah.
But
Well,
not.
on this last recovery last night, there was a school of mahi-mahi that was...
Ooh,
they saw.
really?
Yeah.
Don't say that. I'm gonna get hungry.
Yeah.
I wanted to say too, in regards to the sound of Hercules, sometimes we'll be doing operations where there's, we want to acoustically release something from the sea floor using the ship. We like send a sound frequency out and say like, okay, release this package, and then float away to the top so we can recover it, and the vehicles will be there to watch that it releases. But Herc's sound has interfered with that sound coming from the ship getting to the package to do the acoustic release. So we have to like back way away, sometimes out of view, to allow for the sound signal to pass because we're so loud.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Wow. And then another one, this is for anyone who cares to answer. Does anyone on the team have thalassophobia?
I don't know what that is.
Maybe?
Okay, so I looked it up. I looked it up. And it's the fear of the deep.
Fear of teeth?
The
Deep.
deep?
Oh, sorry.
Is an instant phobia or fear of large, oh no, excuse
Sorry.
me, sorry, I had that incorrect. Is an intense phobia or fear of large bodies of water. Well,
I don't think we'd be out here if we did.
I'm good.
I would say
Yeah.
no. I had to Google that phobia there. Okay, and then this is another question for all of us. Do all of the crew get turns in the van? So mostly yes, I would say so. Our scientists, pilots, navigators, and communicators all rotate shifts so that we're all on have time in the van and our videographers. And then back to the pilots. What is a feature or detail of Herc that someone may be surprised by?
Oh, let me think. I don't want to start a fire up here.
I don't know.
It's one of those things where it's like maybe the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, but it's been a while, so it feels
Sure.
normal now. So I just
Yeah.
want to think about a new perspective.
What was it though? Now I want to know.
I don't know. You know what? Gibson would be a good person
Yeah,
to
Gibson
ask.
would be a
He's
good
our
ask, yeah.
intern right now,
Oh,
and he will tell you. He was will be very new for him. He'll be like,
Sure.
oh, this was surprising. You know.
I'm always amazed by the repurposing of things like tennis balls.
Yeah, good
Or-
point. I didn't expect as many hockey pucks as we have.
I like that though.
When you get a Canadian running the
Yeah,
snow,
there
you
you
can
go.
build a lot of hockey
what do
pucks.
you use the tennis balls for?
Sometimes we use hockey pucks or other rubber for grips and things. And there's
Oh.
actually a hockey puck on the scoop that we have,
There's also the tiki too.
the tiki.
A tiki on Herc.
Yes.
It's for good luck.
This might be a totally normal thing, but I liked how you use oil to make sure that you don't have to use like pressurized containers for the electronics. I thought that was really smart.
Yeah.
What kind of oil?
We use mineral oil in
That's great.
electronic housings. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
and
So I
this-
guess some people might be surprised by that. So yeah,
Yeah.
we use.
I've just never seen it. I
so
thought
we
it was
have-
really smart.
Pressure compensation.
Yeah, we use we have what we call 1 atmosphere housing. So those ones are sealed. They have to withstand the pressure of the ocean when you send them down. So those are the ones that are in air. But we can also have junction boxes and other electronics that can withstand pressure, that are pressure tolerant. And those ones we can just put into like a junction box sealed and filled with oil. And then we put a little bit of pressure inside using a volume of oil with a spring. And that spring pushes back, creates a few PSI, say like 6 PSI or 7 PSI inside the box.
Wow.
And then that pressure, whatever pressure the outside is, it's always 5 or 6 or whatever the pressure is at the moment. Kylie's just actually checking them at the moment.
Sorry.
There's about 4 PSI inside our oil filled junction boxes right now. And so it's always 4 PSI higher than whatever it is on the outside pressure.
That's pretty neat.
And they're much easier to get into. We don't want to open our 1 atmosphere bottles if we can help it. We want to keep those sealed up. But you can open up, it's much easier to open up the oil filled ones and seal them back up again. It's lower risk and
Easier
leaks and things.
maintenance.
And then we could keep an eye on it. So if we start losing oil pressure and we keep an eye on those pressures during the dive, then we know we might have a bit of a leak and then we can surface before we have a problem.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, pilots. I will have more questions about the tiki later.
Yeah, if you want to know about the tiki story, you can go to the website and find,
Oh, awesome.
look up, search for the tiki.
Nice. And then, so this would be for everyone. Are you seeing what was expected as far as life forms?
I think it's been a little bit unexpected.
Sorry.
We
there's
were
another question.
perhaps expecting to see more corals than we have seen.
Right? Yeah, especially on this dive.
Hmm.
I feel like the sponges have been more abundant.
For me, I guess we've only really even seen 1 genus of sea cucumbers, and there were some other ones that are common elsewhere that I was expecting to see. So for me, that's been a little bit of a surprise. I mean, it's not a bad thing or a good thing. It's just interesting that there's 1 genus that seems to be pretty dominant here, that some of the ones that I consider more common, I haven't been seeing. So that's been kind of cool.
And then what genus is that?
I'm pretty sure that what we've been seeing is paelopatides. That's my best guess, but it'll be the genetic information will be the most useful for that.
So once you get into the dissections, you'll be able to know that. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Thank
I'm
you,
gonna turn the
Liz.
I'm going to turn the
What
porch light
does
off. Dave.
paelopatides mean? Does it
Yeah,
have
okay.
I don't know. That's a good question.
That's a good
'Cause it's
question.
Paelo. So that's like,
Paleo.
but it's
P-A-L-E-O?
paleo, not paleo. So I'm not
Oh.
sure.
Okay.
And I don't know what